Ladies and gentlemen, support for this podcast, as always, is brought to us by our boys at xbrain.co.uk for all of your any supplements you want. Whey protein, completely organic. You know, they have the brain optimizer, they have sleep optimizer, xbrain.co.uk, enter promo code fighting words to save 20% off at checkout. Enter promo code, and you will only get that promo code on checkout on xbrain related products. Support for this podcast is also brought to us by our boys at Market Squawk for all of your basically low latency financial data news. Now, enough of that foolishness. Tonight, I'm flying solo. Jesse couldn't make it, but I'm joined by the man himself, Semper Fi, Jamel Herring. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing all right, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Oh, mate, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for joining. How have you been? How are you adjusting to now retired life? It's coming up to a year now, right?
Yeah, it should be in May, and the third week of May. But I've been good. I've been good. I mean, I'm still in the gym. I stay active, but I spend more of my time, watching over the fighters that I manage and commentating and doing things of that
Yeah, yeah,
nature now,
yeah.
right?
Excellent commentator. How many fighters are
Thank
you
you.
managing?
Wow. Like I said, I gotta think. I think about like on top of my hand, at least like there were like six of my six right now, but
Nice.
we were slowly building. It's just that for the most part we've been just trying to deal with fighters that we want to give more attention to than having like a whole like stable full of guys. Like we just try to because we want to make sure everyone has the proper amount of attention
Yeah.
needed and everyone gets the same respect around the board.
Nice. I mean, it's quality over quantity, basically.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Absolutely. For me, it's not about chasing the dollar. It's all about guiding fighters in the right path to where they won't make mistakes that I have made maybe in the beginning
yeah,
early in my career, or if I seen others made crazy mistakes and I'm like, this is not the way to go. This is how we should do it. And and for the most part, everyone's on the same page.
yeah. I mean, like from your perspective, it's really nice now to see elite pros. Kind of, you don't want to say giving back to the community, but that's kind of what you guys are, right?
Yeah.
You've learnt the lessons, you've learnt it the hard way. You've come up just after one of the shadiest eras in boxing, but there was still a lot of shadiness going on, and like now
Always,
you can
oh yeah.
help. You know,
I'm still hearing stories about fighters that are being mishandled or mistreated. And
hmm
it's just like to hear from them, it's like, man, like I never thought it was still like that. But there's a lot of fighters out there that have just bad contracts across the board, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Andre Ward was frozen out for years. Like the amount of fighters
Right.
that we see even now just held. Like
Oh
Jack
yeah.
Catterall. Like what
Yeah,
happened?
it definitely still goes on. A lot of fighters that yeah, I just basically froze out, blackballed, whatever you want to call it. And my goal is just to, at least try to get them in the right direction. Cause again, I believe that the fighter puts in the work. So
Mm,
I never take credit for it. Cause at the end of the day, you have to go in the gym and you have to train. Like I said, my job is basically put you in the right direction
yeah.
and let you flourish from there.
What is it that you look for when you see a fighter and you look at that guy, you're like, or girl,
Actually,
that
like I said, me and my partner JC, on Instagram at Wild King, wildcardking.com. I mean,
professional.
yeah, at Wildcard King. That's my partner Jerry. But like the first thing honestly we would look for is character, honestly,
Mm,
because you have a lot of talent out there, but they just have like bad character and like a lot of guys that think they know everything, already. So like
yeah.
those are the type of guys I try to avoid because you can't even when it's instructive criticism, they never want to take the fall or think that they're doing anything wrong. So it's like, for me, I was looking for fighters with good character and who actually want to fight and want to work and not be so difficult. And at the same time, yeah, it's my job to go out there and look for the best deals and the best fights. But
Mm,
it's like, a lot of guys you see it today in boxing, they think they're above or they don't want to fight this certain style or individual for whatever reason. So, like I said again, the first thing we look for is character, and then we form a bond in a real relationship. It's not just like, I don't look at it as just another name on the list. We actually, like, every one of the fighters that I work with. We make sure that I get on the phone with them personally myself. I ask how they're doing for starters, how they're feeling before we get into business. Before we okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're looking at this date. We wanna go with this fight, but I want to make sure that the fighter is in a good state of mind, and from the get go, and more importantly, is healthy. We're not looking at, again, just to try to pick up a quick check. That's not what it's about. Like, for one, for starters, I believe I'm still well off myself. So for me, it's not about the money. Like I said, but again, I want to put fighters in a position where they can be more comfortable with just focusing on boxing and and still enjoying their day-to-day lives.
I mean, and having someone like yourself in their corner, like they're self fighting there, but like it's one thing if it's, like a guy like me, right? Like a bunch of pro friends, eventually you kind of think maybe I can do a little bit of deals. I don't know what you guys have gone through. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen it.
Yesterday, honestly, I was in the gym with one of my fighters, and I'm just training, but I'm also keeping a close eye on everything that's going on, and making sure that he's doing everything that he needs to be doing. And like I said, I have a relationship with most of the trainers that I work with. Anyway, that most of my fighters work with, train with. I have a relationship with a lot of the trainers, so like I'll just pop up the camps and just make sure, ask them how they're doing, if they need anything. Like, again, my job is to make sure that everything for them during camp runs smoothly, so they can just focus on just training. Because I never liked it myself when there's things going on outside the ring, and it's like, man, it's too much on my plate. Like, how can I? No, no. My job is to make sure that you're good. You can just solely focus on training. If you need anything, let me know. We'll work on it. If I can't get it to you now, I can make some calls and we'll get it to you eventually.
See, because like on the UK scene, small hall shows, etc., you're selling tickets. A good friend of mine was literally driving around dropping off tickets that he'd sold to see him fight, and you're talking this up until 2 days before the fight, a day before the fight.
It
It's just
crazy.
stress.
It's too much, and then those 2 days, he should be focusing on, he or she should be focusing on, cutting weight, keeping, preparing their mind for the fight, and that's what my team has to do, is take a lot of that weight off their shoulders, because we want to make sure that they have they put in the best performance that they can eventually manifest out there in the ring. And again, and more importantly, you don't want to see a fighter get hurt because they're not focused, or their mind was elsewhere.
What's the biggest thing that you've taken from your career and you're saying to your fighters that they are not going to have to suffer this because Daddy Herring's got it for them?
The biggest thing, honestly, is it's crazy. The biggest thing, truthfully, that I've taken, that a lot of, you probably see it now, a lot of boxers, a lot of fighters aren't they're not they don't have financial literacy. What I mean by that is a lot of fighters. One thing that my
not just fighters,
athletes are just adults all around the world. Period. A lot of people, but it mainly hurts in boxing when you see a lot of these fighters. No one is ever there to like basically let them know, like, listen, you need to be marking, checking everything off for the end of the year because you got to take care of your taxes. You see a lot of fighters, they come back 10, 15 years later after they're passed because they owe the IRS so much money and back pay. And it's like, so for me, that was one thing that I actually picked up from my team when I was fighting. Like, again, when I fought, before I fought guys like Carl Frampton. And so when the money's really started pouring in, it's like, okay, I got to really start taking care of my finances and like looking over everything. So even like I tell fighters, listen, man, like when you're in camp, check off everything for the end of the year for your taxes, because a lot of fighters, they just don't know. Set up an LLC, turn your name is your business. So and that's a lot of things. And that's a lot of things. That's the main thing we try to preach for fighters. And we always, and think about it, unlike, I can't speak for other managers out there, but like for me, I'm very open. So like we go by the numbers on everything. So like that fighter exactly knows what he had to pay for, or what came out his purse in terms of he may have had to pay the commission. Okay, you owe okay, instead of getting having a rift between your team, we'll do it as with different permission, of course, but we'll do it as where like we'll have the trainer have a check cut on the side, so
Yep.
you don't they don't have to deal with all that. Like we'll take care of all that with the like especially with Ty Ring. Ty Ring is great with working with not only the fighter but the manager to make it easy for everyone across the board. So like I said, we just run things by the book, and we just try to change little things up here and there.
For our legion of hundreds of fans, who are on your roster? Like obviously all six of them, but who should we be looking out for that we wouldn't have had the exposure to just yet?
Right now, I can say Micaiah Krebs. She fights at 118 the bantamweight. She's I think I believe earlier this week. Matter of fact, her the promoter Lou DiBella. We just struck the deal where she'll be fighting for a regional title, but after that regional title, she should be getting a chance at her first world championship.
Nice.
Michael Gamble, he's on 5-0, a young prospect at featherweight that I was at the gym with yesterday. So I've been keeping an eye on him. Jordan Panthen, he's another guy that we got coming up. Right now he's 1-0, but he has a heavy amateur pedigree behind him with multiple national championships and so on. Misael Lopez is another guy out there that's fought as top contenders at featherweight as well, and like the list just goes on. Like, and again, I get out there, and me because like, you probably see yourself even on your side of the pond that it's rare that you see a lot of pros at the top level actually go down to amateur events. But like unlike me, I just came from a national tournament just to show face, show support, encourage kids, and also look at the future of our sport of boxing and see, this kid may go places. I'm gonna keep my eye on this kid, or I'm a fan of this kid. I'm gonna watch him a lot more. So I always get out there to speak with the fans. Over the weekend, I just had a great conversation with my good friend Josh Taylor. Me and Josh, we fought each other back in 2011 in London. And Josh had beat me by 3 points. But after that, me and Josh, we became real close friends. I mean, we spoke a year later during the Olympics. Again in London, we ran into each other, and we just reminisced about our fight. And since then, we've always had good contact. And then he came out to the States to make an announcement to fight against Teofimo Lopez, who's another good friend of mine. But me and Josh, we always catch up with each other. There's never been any animosity, no bad blood. He supports my career. He actually told me, matter of fact, he actually wanted me to commentate his fight with Teofimo. So guess what? I'll be commentating for Sky for his fight against Teofimo Lopez in June. So yeah, I mean but that's just how good of a friends me and Josh are, and I can just the list just goes on and on. What fighters that I form relationships around the world, and that's why I love and respect boxing so much, because yes, it's very competitive, but at the same time, you get to form and build relationships with a lot of great individuals from across the globe, and you get to dig deep into their background, their character, and you actually start seeing that a lot of us are just similar. Even though we come to all
very, very similar.
A lot of us are very similar.
Yeah, majority of fighters come from a very similar background. Majority of fighters have a very similar upbringing. Like
absolutely.
Josh is nuts. Like that's why I love Josh. Like he's not that guy. If you talk any sort of nonsense to him,
he's coming
in
back.
Your face.
Yeah, he's coming. That's I've seen it. I've seen him with Josh. I'm like, man, and it's crazy because again, when we get around each other, it's a totally different Josh Taylor. Like, he's like the nicest person in the world, But that's because of the bond we built over the years. But like you pointed out, if you get on his bad side,
we've
I
seen
can
it a bunch of
understand
times.
Because again, Josh is not a bad individual. But if you push him there, he's gonna go there.
He has one of the most visible crazy switches of any current fighter. Like there's something that falls out of his face and it goes into his eyes. And during the him and the Jack Catterall face off, there was a moment where you just thought he will stab you.
I don't put my guy on the spot, but when he came across Rick Marigian during the when he was on the fight with my good friend Jose Ramirez, that's when I seen like, oh man, he's really he's pissed off today.
He's got the immediate
Yeah, the
I'm
switch.
good to
Yeah,
go.
the change. Yeah, exactly.
A true Scotsman. Who do you think gets that then between I know you're friends, but as a analyst,
Oh,
as a pundit,
like I would have to lean towards Josh,
mm,
honestly. And like I said, it's nothing against Tio. Tio's my guy too, but sometimes, we looking on the outside at least, we look at
yep,
things that's been going on with Teofimo and it's like, yo, is he 100%, there mentally in the fight in the fight game anymore? I mean, at
yep.
one point before the Kambosos fight, he was always out there in the public. He wanted to fight
This
everyone.
is it.
He wanted to fight Ryan Garcia. He
Yep.
wanted to fight, before the Kambosos fight, he wanted to fight Josh Taylor. He wanted to fight
Hmm.
this guy. And it's like, lately, it's like you only see him now, like when the fight was announced. You don't
Yep.
hear from him as much. You don't know, if he has that same hunger anymore. I mean, of course, Teofimo, he's a great, he can promote a fight. He can promote a hell of a fight. Just like
Sure.
he wants to fight at the Garden in the big room, and I agree with him.
Hmm.
I believe that he has a good fan base. I know Josh is going to bring fans from across the
Yeah.
pond as well. So I believe that the fight should be in the big room of the Garden, and hopefully, when the tickets start selling, it happens that way. But again, in terms of the fight, it's just that I don't know. It's like you guys seen it even from Teofimo's last couple of fights after the even coming back, his return coming back, and it's like it doesn't seem like the same fire or flare that we've
Yeah.
seen before the
Just
Kambosos fight.
it feels like from a fan's perspective, it feels like with
But
Tiafimo.
but I mean I know Josh even said it. He said it. He's got criticisms for his last
Yeah,
fight as well. But
this
I
is
just
it.
feel like I just feel like at the end of the day, Josh Taylor is, he still is you just see it in his eyes, like he
Mm,
still has that dog and he still wants to
yep.
fight the best out there. Even before, I mean, he's even talked about going up to welterweight, and fighting guys
I
like
mean,
Terrence Crawford. So
he's
Josh is still
huge.
calling for the big guy, yeah, and he's still calling for those guys.
Like, I mean, to be fair, like Josh versus Regis is one of the best 140 fights of
Yeah.
of
Oh
a
yeah,
very
that was a
long
good one.
time.
That was a good one. That was a banger. That was a good fight. That was a good fight.
But
And
with
like I said, and I,
with
and I,
Tio
and
though.
I sparred Regis a
Oh,
few
did
years
you?
back. And Regis is one of the hardest punches that I've ever sparred with. So for him to Josh Taylor go at it like that says a lot about the pedigree and the dog in both individuals.
And what I was going to say is like with Tio, do you think that maybe much like kind of like Loma, but the secret came out at Loma, and Loma kept going up and up and up, right?
Mhm.
Tio's the other side. We've seen what Tio can do. We've seen the
Right.
phenomenal athlete that he is, and obviously the weight was a problem. Like you can't be that big and make 135 for that long. So he's up at
Right.
140. There's a big adjustment now between 140 because those dudes are like 154 the day
Oh
after.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I
they're a
mean,
lot
yeah.
bigger. And like
Absolutely. I mean, if I think about it, yeah, Josh has actually been down there for. You gotta look at it. He's probably been at that way for over a decade now.
yeah.
Because remember, like I said, when Josh and I fought, we both had fought at 141 pounds at junior welter, the limit.
Hmm.
He's still there as a pro, but
Yeah.
his body has grown, but he's still able to make the weight. Because like I said, I just posted a picture of him and I a few days ago,
Yeah,
and people say
sorry.
I'm a big junior lightweight. You know what I
Yeah, you're like
mean?
5'10", right?
Yes, I mean I'm a
I
big
have
junior
no idea
lightweight,
how
but
you make junior lightweight. I have no idea how you do
I
that.
need the help of a nutritionist, and that's what I try to preach to fight. It's the crazy thing is, at one point in time, me and Teofimo, we had the same nutritionist with perfecting athletes, and
Hmm.
they were helping him because, like I said, he's a growing kid that's and grew out of the weight class, but they were still helping him get down to the weight. And I'm not growing anymore, obviously, but I can't make the weight by myself without
Yeah.
having a proper plan and a diet to do so. I mean, it's not hard for me as long as I follow the diet, but yeah, again, guys my size, they're not getting down to 130 pounds and
Not
and
easily.
being successful and being still
Yeah.
strong and fully functional at the weight.
Yeah. You're not doing that with a couple of runs, a Zumba
No,
class, and a
no,
couple
yeah,
of
exactly. You
yogas.
can't put
You
on
know
you
what I
can't
mean?
put on a sauna suit
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go out there. No, it's not gonna happen. You gotta do it the right way. And I think today in today's boxing world, I think in sports in general,
Mm,
nutritionists have played a huge role with
huge.
athletes across a lot of sports in terms of not just the diet but the performance and how they
Hmm.
feel Because again, you see a lot of guys, they'll drain themselves to get down the weight. Yes, they'll make it on the scale, but then the night afterwards, these guys are still half dead, and
Yeah.
there's nothing, and there's nothing in them.
I mean, like you would never expect Tyson Fury to have a nutritionist, but he's got George Lockhart. You know,
But
like
yeah,
it,
but look at Tyson. Tyson is
never
people
tired.
people can they can make fun of his physique, but this guy, he's light on his feet. He bounces his
Act,
feet.
act.
His activity level is still phenomenal for a guy that
Yep.
size. And it's like right now, I can't think of anyone who can give Tyson Fury a run for his money, even when
You don't
Tyson
think
Fury
Usyk?
is.
You don't
I
think
don't
you
think
not?
so. I don't. And
Nah.
I like Usyk, and the reason why I would side with Fury because Fury is smart. Like he knows how to use his whole entire
Yep.
body, meaning that he's tall, so he knows how to keep a good distance with his jab and his punches at range. Also, you seen it with you seen him do it with Deontay Wilder, who's just
Hmm.
a little bit shorter than him, but
Yep.
he will put his weight on like that takes a lot out of any fighter. I mean,
For
this is a
sure.
guy like and you never know which weight he's going to come in the ring. And the crazy thing about it, Tyson Fury can come close to 300 pounds, but still be light on his feet.
Yeah,
But you still got to deal
300
with
and
that 300.
bouncing
Yeah,
for
you still got to
12
deal with that
rounds.
300 pounds on your shoulders and your back. So I'm like, Usyk, don't get me wrong, he's a real good fighter, but we've seen that he's been susceptible to get hit at heavyweight. I mean, even Joshua was able to, score some clean shots. You can just imagine with a guy like Fury, he may not be the biggest puncher at heavyweight, but at the same time, he has fast hands, he can
Mhm.
box, and he can, he can use everything, your best attributes against you at times. So again, it's just hard for me to see anybody beating Fury. Yes, Usyk may be the closest, maybe to do so, but again, I would have to side with Tyson Fury.
Yeah. With from your side of the pond, how much criticism did AJ get? And we'll go on to Teddy and Shakur in a bit just to finish up. But like
Which depends on which fight, because my
this
first
against
time actually.
Franklin.
Okay, I think it was more so much of, again, like a lot of from what I've heard in terms of they like he didn't look his best. I think we all can agree with that.
Yeah.
But it's one thing is because I like Joshua, especially what he's done with that whole UK scene on his end with boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, his shows are like I love watching his shows from over here because his shows, just his interests is like events alone,
Yeah.
so and he brings the people out, so you gotta love that. It's just that he's another one. You never know if he has that hunger anymore because I mean,
Yeah.
look, he's filthy rich. He's won every
Yeah.
belt but the WBC title. But again, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, he's beat Hall of Famers like Vladimir Klitschko, and the
Hmm.
list goes on and so on. But it's for me personally, it's just one of the things like, does Joshua still really want to continue being like competitive, at least at that
Yeah.
level? I mean, he really can just get up, he like, if you look at it, he has a great, what Eddie Hearn has done with him is great
Hmm.
in terms of marketing and making him comfortable in terms of his life. But it's one of the things where like, okay, he can just get up right now and he could basically face anyone and they're going to come out. But is that going to still keep him hungry, or does
Yeah.
he still want to fight the best out there? Does he want to fight the Tyson Fury? Does he want to fight the matchup that we asked for over a decade with a fight with Deontay Wilder? I mean, I
Yeah.
pretty much see they're both at the same level in terms of like still on that redemption path. So that's
Hmm.
still, I mean, and let's be honest, heavyweight division, all you need is one good win, and you're back in there with people talking about you again, like, oh, I think he can, and heavyweight
Yeah.
division like that. So again, I like Joshua. I just again, like right now, I feel like in terms of on that side of the pond, I have to from over here, most of us are paying attention to Tyson Fury.
Nice. In closing, because I know you have to go very soon. How good
Yes,
is
and we was having a
Shakur?
good. We got to do it
Yeah,
again, though,
we,
man.
we'll
We
do it
got to
again.
do it again.
You're welcome back anytime, mate.
We
You're
gotta
in a
do it
circle
again.
now.
We definitely got it because, like I said, I enjoy it. You see, right now I could talk boxing all day if
Yeah.
I want. I mean, my wife, so she'll sit upstairs and just let me do
Once
my
walked out the room.
thing.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
the
she's
kids
gone.
know. Like at the laptop set, the kids know. They just go do their thing. But again, man, I definitely, I definitely would like to come on as many times
100%.
more than once as possible. That's just me, man.
Definitely. But hit me, Shakur. How good is he? And
Oh
and
man.
when you saw Teddy's like, I love Teddy, but sometimes Teddy's
Teddy,
off,
no, I love
and
Teddy too,
Teddy's
but
crazy.
Teddy had a pocket, Teddy. You come on,
Yeah,
Teddy. You got. I'll say this. I'll say this to Teddy first.
Teddy needs
I
to
love
behave.
Teddy's been a great supporter of my career. So I love Teddy. You know, thank God I didn't have to go to the wrath of that with Teddy. You know, even through my ups and downs. But
Yeah,
I will say this. I say Teddy was a little bit too harsh because we all know what happened. Like Shakur went down the list. Like it wasn't.
yeah,
He didn't choose that opponent. Like he basically only got to accept what would only accept fighting him. You know,
yeah.
he wanted to fight. The guys like Cruz, Cambosas, Cepeda, and
All of them.
and and, and yeah, the list goes on. But so I'll say that with that. But now going on in terms of Shakur's performance, I thought that was a very surgical, honestly, since he fought me, honestly, in terms of just the things that he did in there, that he was very
That was
surgical.
his breakout was against you.
He's seen more.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the weight has been a help also because he seemed a lot more physically stronger where he wasn't running. He actually was staying in the pocket. I think he's even more dangerous in the pocket than boxing because
Fact.
every time you think he's in front of you, and I had the same issue. Every time I think he's in front of me and I can hit him, and let's be honest, I'm bigger, I'm longer than him, but like every time I would throw some at him, it would just miss him just a little, and he was so quick that he'll come right back. He's coming, he's hitting right here with uppercuts. You know, he's coming up top. It's like man. That honestly, like that would take it out of you mentally. It's like, okay, I'm sitting in front of this man, and I'm thinking we're gonna go toe-to-toe action and fight in the phone booth, but it's not a phone booth it's not a phone booth fight. It's like him basically beating on a punching bag that's just there because obviously nothing's coming back at him. So that's what I mean. And then like I said, and then I believe that his power did improve, especially with the weight. Despite what anyone says, I commentated Yoshino's fight prior to the Shakur fight.
All Japanese fighters go to fight. None of them are boxers.
He's not an easy pick. He's not an easy fighter to deal with. I mean, he retired a man that I fought for my first title. Masahiko Ito. He retired Ito. He went to go stop Nakatani, and Nakatani, depending who he's giving a lot of guys problems. He's giving guys like he's even giving sometimes in the fight Lomachenko issues. He knocked out Felix Verdejo, so Yoshino was not a bad opponent coming in. So that's why I can't agree with Teddy Atlas. It's just that Shakur is so good that he makes you look like you're not on that level, and you're probably not. But again, it doesn't say that you're not deserving, especially when you have a good resume behind you. Just that Shakur is just far ahead of the competition so far that he's been in it against.
Do you think he's probably coming into the best at 135?
I believe so. And for me, I think like I speak to Shakur, people don't know me and Shakur talk all the time, man. I think with Shakur is the better the competition, the better he's going to push himself. You know, and I think that's why he's going to be at 135 pounds at lightweight for a long time. Because there's so many good fights that can be made in the division alone that is going to motivate him. I know speaking with him in the fighter meeting prior to the fight on Saturday, he was telling us that that he kind of feels as if he's resetting. He's starting over because again, he's going to a new division and he has no belt. So he's not the man. He's not considered the man right now. He's not the champion. He's not the champion. So with that being said, that motivates him. He's like, okay, people think because we all heard the whispers. Oh, he did good at featherweight and super featherweight, but is he really a good lightweight? And he's being criticized because people were saying that before his recent fight that he was one of the best lightweights in the world, but he hasn't fought that lightweight yet. So he hears all these things and he says, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna make sure to make a statement with this fight. And as you've seen, that's what he did. And I believe that, he wants the one between Lomachenko and Devin Haney next. Like this, he doesn't want to let it marinate. Because he told again, keep close look on this. He also said that I believe Oscar De La Hoya's record of becoming a three-time world champion, divisional world champion, was at 22 fights.
Yep.
Right now, he's at 21. He's at 21 fights, and he wants to beat that record So he has to do it by the next
Yeah.
fight. So so he's pushing. So I'm trust him to believe he's going to push for that winner. The same reason that he pushed to fight me the moment I got the ring with Frampton that Monday, I had a letter from the WBO saying I had to fight Shakur Stevenson next. There was really no time to celebrate. So I believe that knowing him and his team, the minute the winner is raised between Lomachenko and Devin Haney, that Monday he's going to be look on Twitter. Somebody's going to get called out.
Jamel, on that note, I know you got to go. We'll get you back very soon, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, brother, man. And again, I appreciate and love you guys out there in the UK and Ireland, man. You guys have been great.
And man, we love you too,
career. And I still, if I will say this, if I do ever plan on ever coming back, I will say this: I still have to fight in the UK. That's just one of my goals as a professional. I was upset that I couldn't go to even Ireland to Belfast, and I was supposed to go to Belfast to the fight. Then we were supposed to move. Frank Warren wanted to move it to the UK, and then that got shut down. So I was kind of upset I didn't go over there in that neck of the wood to fight.
It's the age of exhibition. We can set this up. Give me your fax number. I'll rent a small venue somewhere. We'll make this happen.
I gotta come out there, but again, even if it's come to visit, but I have to get out to the UK because again, you guys have been I'll say this, and it's not just because I'm on the show, but I always said the UK fans and my even my old trainers even said the same thing. UK fans are the best fans, and I'm glad I got to witness it during the Joshua Ruiz fight, the first one, the Garden, and that was in the States. So again, I have to go out there and see it myself.
You gotta come over, dude. You gotta come over.
I got you, bro.
Thank you so much for joining us, man. I'll speak to you very soon.
No problem, bro. All right.
Patreon.com/fighting words. Thank you very much.
Take